This summer, we are hanging about in England, which isn't something that we would ordinarily choose to do because whilst it's our home country, unfortunately, we've never really felt welcome here in a campervan. In our experience, finding decent park-ups can be a bit of a headache, and what services there are pretty expensive. Plus, on top of that, the weather makes being outside as much as we would like pretty much impossible. But we really want to change our mindset about van life in England, so we're going to be spending the next couple of months exploring some of the most beautiful but some of the least visited parts of the country. And of course, we're going to take you along for the ride with us. Now, you're probably familiar with the UK's national parks, but we're betting that you're not so familiar with areas of outstanding national beauty. But there are in fact 46 of these dotted throughout England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. And that's where we're going to be heading this summer, to England's least visited areas of national beauty. It's quite probable that you've never even heard of some of these places. We certainly hadn't. So we're really excited to showcase a different side of the country and maybe even to put some places on your travel bucket list that haven't been there before. But before we get into that, we want to tell you about something else really exciting that we've been up to recently. We've partnered with MyHeritage DNA to find out what our origins are and potentially find new relatives around the world that we didn't even know we had. Right, I cannot tell you how excited I am about this. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and particularly since so many people suggested that I must be from Morocco when we were traveling around Morocco. And the results are finally in, so let's get straight into it. Okay, James, ready to explore your ethnicity? I certainly am. Let's go. James, you are 47% English. Okay. 26% Nigerian. What? 11.7% Sierra Leonean. 9.7% Irish, Scottish and Welsh. What? And 5.6% 3 or more ethnicities, and there's a little thing there over Kenya, Turkey, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Iran. What? Hold on, 47% English. That's really high. That's a lot higher than I actually expected. So 26% Nigerian. I did not know that. That is amazing. Those results are actually a huge, massive shock for me. I'm processing that. It's going to take a while, I think. But there are also DNA matches, and I've got 3,464 DNA matches. Some of them are really close. Parents, first cousin's daughter, second cousin. This is amazing. There are just tons of people that I'm related to, and it looks like they're all over the world as well. This is just, it's blowing my mind. This is so exciting.
Okay, my turn. Now, people always assume that I have some Asian origins because of my features, but I'm not aware of any, and I literally have no idea what to expect with these results, which makes it even more exciting. Okay, Sarah, you are... Oh my gosh! Oh wow, that's fascinating! Oh my gosh, can't wait to tell James. Right, so get this. I am 37.9% English.
37, wait, what? So
Yep.
I'm more English than you?
Yep.
I'm more English than you?
Yep. But also, I am 32.7% Scandinavian.
Okay.
That's a lot, right?
That is, yeah, that's interesting.
24.9% Irish, Scottish, Welsh.
Okay.
3.2% Baltic. And 1.3% Central Asian.
What?
I
That's
know.
amazing.
Like, how amazing is it to find that out?
Look, this has been an amazing and mind-blowing experience with completely unexpected results. And if you've got any interest whatsoever in finding out where you're from, then we would highly recommend that you do this test.
MyHeritage has a promotion on right now, so just click the link in the description box, enter the coupon code that is on screen, and you'll get free shipping. First up, we are in Arnside and Silverdale area of national beauty. Now, this is on the west coast of England, just tucked beneath the Lake District National Park, if you know where that is. And this is the park up that we stayed at last night. It's just on a roadside, so there's quite a bit of traffic noise, but it was quiet overnight, so it was absolutely fine. We've been out on the beach exploring this morning. AD and I had a little bit of an incident with some quicksand, so that was quite interesting. And we've had some lunch, and now we are just about to head out and find somewhere to explore this afternoon.
The first stop off that we're making today is in a little town called Beetham, and one of the difficulties with places like this is that they weren't actually made for cars. So when they are kind of hit with lots of tourists, it makes it pretty difficult to drive, really hard to find parking because there's not that many places to park. And also, something that you notice when you're in a van is that the streets are really narrow and they're not made for larger vehicles. So we had to go around a few of the back streets to actually find some parking, and the place that we parked is actually for another attraction called the Heron Mill, but it has got a private car park that you can donate £2 and just stay there all day. So that's what we've done, and it is not too far away from the place that we're actually heading to. Not only is this walk really beautiful, but it is also really, really nice smelling because the whole of the floor is just carpeted in a blanket of wild garlic, which is so pungent you can really just smell it in the air. It's beautiful.
This is where we have been walking to, the fairy steps, which are just behind me, and this is one of the old coffin routes in the area, they were called. So basically where they would bring dead people from out of like the more remote parts of the countryside and into the village to be buried. So yeah, they used to come down here with coffins. The other thing is that folklore has it that if you make a wish before you go up there, if you cannot touch the sides on your way up, then your wish comes true. It looks really narrow, so I don't know how I'm going to even be able to not touch the sides, let alone Jay.
Without touching the sides? I can't, I'm stuck. Oh.
You touched the sides yet?
No, not at all. I could do it without touching the sides of my hands, but blimey, that is tight. Very narrow.
They must have been smaller in the olden days.
Yeah, no wishes for me. Well, that was a lovely little walk. Beautiful scenery, lovely countryside, fantastic bit of history there as well. And we stopped off for a cheeky little pint at the pub on the way back because Adi fell asleep whilst we were walking back to the van. We are now heading back to Cass and we're going to try and find a park up for the night. Well, this is where we spent the night last night. It is just a lay-by the side of the road, but the views from it are absolutely stunning. In one direction you can see all across the Yorkshire Dales, and in the other way you can see right out to Morecambe Bay, and apparently in fine weather you can see right to the lakes as well. And this morning we were even greeted by a herd of cows that came pretty much right up to the van door. We have got a packed itinerary this morning, so we're up bright and early and we are ready to hit the road.
This morning we are doing a walk around an area called Arnside Knot. It's a circular walk, it's supposed to take around 2 hours and it's just around a really beautiful area. So there's loads of lovely viewpoints, lots of rare wildlife, supposed to be loads of lovely butterflies apparently, so we need to keep an eye out for them. And yeah, just quite a few of the local landmarks that we've taken along the route. And we have definitely got the weather for it, so it should be a nice one. Well, we've only been going about 5 minutes and already the views are incredible. Look at that over there. That's a huge estuary and it's where the River Kent comes into the sea, but it's just so huge. It's basically like a beach because it's really tidal and the water just comes in and out. So it's where we were parked alongside the first night, which is part of Morecambe Bay. And it's just a really interesting environment. As you saw when we got stuck in the quicksand, it's actually quite dangerous as well, so you've really got to be careful because the tides come in really, really quick. But the views from up here, oh my gosh. So that you can see at the back of me, over the other side of the estuary, is all the Lake District area. time. So that's how close we are to it, but we're not actually in the Lake District. We're just in this little bit that's tucked around the bottom of it.
The views on this hike just keep getting better and better. I'm not sure I quite expected to be able to see pretty much all around 360 views, not from a single point of the hike, but from different points along the hike, because you can see out across the bay, you can see inland, you can see out to sea. It is just really stunning.
We're back just in time for Brady's nap time then, which is really well timed because we can all have a nap together. But first things first, before we get back in the van, we need to check for ticks, remember, because, you know, they might be around and we don't want any of those hanging around. We didn't really go off the path at all, so I think it's probably quite unlikely, but yeah, still need to check.
After making sure we were tick-free and having a well-deserved nap, we made our way into the quaint little seaside village of Arnside itself.
Well, we have had an absolutely lovely afternoon, just chilling there on the beach, relaxing, enjoying the sunshine. Had some fish and chips. We were going to get an ice cream, but unfortunately the place was already closed by the time we walked up there, so that's a bit of a shame, but we'll try and grab one later on in the week. Anyway, we have got to go and find somewhere to park up for the night, because unfortunately there is just nowhere at all to park overnight around here, even though there are quite a few spaces and it's emptying out now. There's definitely space that we could park overnight, but there's just signs left, right and centre. So yeah, we are going to head off now, and we've got a couple of options. There is the place that we were at earlier, the car park that we were at for the walk actually didn't have any overnight parking restrictions anywhere that we could see, so that is one possibility that we head back to there. The other one is that there is another lay-by nearby that we've earmarked. But one of the good things about this area that we are exploring is that everything is only kind of 5, 10, 15 minutes between places, because it's so small, so you can kind of zip around and find places to park and stuff, so it's not too bad.
Well, this is the place that we've found for tonight. Again, it is just a lay-by on the side of a road, but apparently the road does get quite quiet at night, so there won't be much passing traffic, and it's surrounded by green fields, so there's a lot of wildlife about. I've spotted some sheep and I've also seen some pheasants already, so hopefully it will be a nice park up.
Good morning. The road was quite quiet overnight, but it is starting to get a little bit busy now, so we are going to head off and go into Silverdale to explore.
This place is an absolute peach. It's right on the beach side, isn't it? The water's way out and all of this part is dry. So it looks like it hasn't actually flooded in a while, but there are still signs up saying that you do have to beware because it is tidal obviously and it comes in very quickly. And we have read some bits and pieces that vans have been on here before and they've had to drive away pretty sharply in the middle of the night because the tide has just come in. And I've just gone and checked on the actual signs that are about, and I can't really find anything about overnight parking. It actually says that there's no overnight parking without prior permission, but I'm assuming that someone will come round and collect some money and that will be our permission, hopefully. Other than that, it's £2 a day. You can pay into the honesty box, or there's a QR code as well, which is pretty cool. So I think we're just going to stay here for the day and see what happens with the payment situation.
Breakfast ready. We figured it out in the end then. On the app it quite clearly said that it was £10 a night, so we paid through that, which was really convenient. And we have just been chilling on the grass outside the van, enjoying the weather this morning, had some lunch, and we're now going to head out and explore. First of all, we are trying to find some ice cream because we failed at that yesterday, so that's our first job. We're just taking a walk now to a place called Jenny Brown's Point. No idea why it's called that. I assume it's named after someone, but don't know who Jenny Brown is. Anyway, the reason we are walking there is because it's supposed to be amazing views from there. And it's supposed to have some of the best sunsets in the world. Now unfortunately we're not going to get to see that because It's about 11 PM these days that the sun is setting. So not setting, when it gets dark, sorry. But yeah, still pretty late, about 9 PM or something. So unfortunately we can't stay out there until then. But yeah, should be some nice views anyway. Apparently this area around Silverdale as well, there are exactly 365 different walks. So you can literally do one for every day of the year. How cool is that?
That is pretty cool.
It's nice, isn't it?
Think I might be over my troubles since you came around.
So right over there, when you get much further out, is the Irish Sea.
Okay.
And almost kind of like directly opposite, if you go like straight out from England, from the coast, there's Dublin.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not hard to see why I was feeling down.
What a beautiful, beautiful spot. It is just so peaceful around here. And it's absolutely teeming with wildlife as well. We're not massive into bird watching or anything like that, but you can really notice that there are just so many different species and types of birds in this area. There are butterflies, there's all sorts of animals that we've seen. And on top of that, when you're walking around, you just hear the sounds in the bushes of animals moving around constantly. So it's quite easy to see why it is an area of national beauty. Good morning. What an awesome park up this has been. It's just been so quiet, and to be right on the beachside as well, to be able to fling open the doors this morning and AD go out and play, has just been absolutely wonderful. But we must move on. We've really enjoyed Silverdale, but we're going to head to our next destination, which is just down the road.
We managed to find somewhere to park just in a lay-by down the road, thankfully. But this is one of the things that really, really, really winds us up about the UK and England in particular. See behind me, there's a height barrier there for this car park. So it means that we can't park in it. We're not intending to stay in here overnight. We don't want to stay here overnight. But it means that we can't often do stuff like this because we struggle to find somewhere to park in a big vehicle. That there's no reason that we can't park in this car park. Like, there's plenty of space, it's absolutely fine. But it happens in like supermarkets and stuff as well, which is really ridiculous. Like, yes, it's a camper van, and yes, we live in it, but at the end of the day, it is also our only vehicle, so we don't have another like smaller car that we can go around in to do exploring and stuff. So yeah, just really annoying when it happens, but anyway, doesn't matter because we found somewhere else to park. There are two circular walks that you can do here at Walton Crag. We've opted for the shorter one for a couple of reasons. Basically, firstly, we don't tend to do really long hikes with AD now. She gets tired pretty quickly when she's actually walking, and if we're carrying her, then we get tired. And the second reason is that we've actually booked ourselves in for an appointment this afternoon for something really exciting, so we need to make sure that we actually make it to that appointment. Despite us going for the shorter route, I think it's still going to be a pretty decent workout, because having looked at where we're going from the car park, it's pretty high up, so it'll still be a bit of a slog. This place is actually designated as an area of special scientific interest, and you don't have to go far to find out why, because even in the car park there are a load of bird watchers sat there with their telescopes out looking up at the cliff that overlooks it. And the reason why is that there are nesting peregrine falcons here, and not only that, there are tons of different varieties of birds that you can find here, so it seems like a really interesting place for wildlife. Well, we made it to the top. That wasn't too difficult, actually. Quick fact about this place then, this is the highest point in the Arnside and Silverdale area of outstanding national beauty at 163 metres high. The views from up here are absolutely insane. Like, we can see right across everywhere that we've been exploring, and interestingly, the tide is right in at the minute, more so than we've seen like the whole time that we've been here. Like some of the places that we were exploring like are actually covered in water at the minute, so it is true. I mean, not that we doubted it, but the tide like is really changeable.
We just stopped for a quick snack and a drink, and we've absolutely had to peel ourselves away from there because the views are just so magnificent. You can see right over across Morecambe Bay. And we also had a pretty close encounter with a peregrine falcon. We heard this rushing noise coming from behind us, and as we looked up, we saw it just swooping down over the side of the cliff edge in front of us. Absolutely spectacular.
Well, that was a lovely walk, but I am so excited about what we're about to do next. We haven't had one of these for so long. Well, here we are then at the pub. We have made it, and we are going here specifically for a Sunday lunch. If you don't know what that is, we'll show you when we get inside, but basically it's just loads of amazing food.
Well, that was a lovely afternoon. I really enjoyed Wharton. It seemed like a very nice village, helped by the fact that there were 3 pubs. Not that we visited all 3, but yeah, it was a really friendly place as well, so yeah. A really nice time there.
Apart from, we asked if we could stay overnight in the pub car park and they said no.
Very true. The thing is, we thought we'd chance it because quite a lot of pubs are allowing you to stay in the car park now. They mentioned something about insurance, which, you know, is absolutely valid and fair enough. It's their choice, isn't it? But again, something that we run into quite a lot in the UK, an empty car park. What's the harm? We're off now to find our final park up in Arnside and Silverdale, area of outstanding national beauty. We will see you there. Well, this is where we're spending the night. It seems like a pretty nice spot. It's just a pair of laybys that are on the edge of quite a quiet road. We haven't seen any cars going down here, although there are a few parked up in the laybys. From here, you can actually see where we spent the day today, Wharton Crag, which is right behind us. And it's obviously a pretty large landmark, but we're only about 5 or 6 minutes away from it. And there are beautiful views around here as well. It seems to be a bit of a theme in this area, doesn't it? Good morning. It was another peaceful night here in our van Cassie, and there was an incredible sunset last night, which seems like a fitting end to our time here in Arnside and Silverdale. So we just wanted to give a bit of a rundown on our time here, how we found it, and whether it started to change our mind on van life in England. First of all, I will start with the downsides, and the main one is that there haven't been that many places to park. Most of the places that we found have just been laybys by the sides of roads, and not always with the most amount of space. Having said that, we have found places to park, and we haven't been met with too much hostility, just the odd early morning beep from presumably disgruntled passers-by. Now, the area itself is absolutely beautiful, with incredible beaches, lots of lovely walks, tons and tons of wildlife, and whilst there are definitely quite a few visitors here, it is nowhere near on the scale of the nearby Lake District, and we were here over part of half term and a weekend as well. So that's a real positive. Overall, we've genuinely really enjoyed our time here in Arnside and Silverdale, but it hasn't changed our minds on van life in England because exactly the same problems exist with access, parking, and just the overall feeling towards campervans. On that note, we are now heading to a campsite because there are no motorhome specific services here, paid or otherwise. Next stop, we are heading to Nidderdale Area of National Beauty, which is adjoined to the Yorkshire Dales National Park. So don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and if you're new around here, then why not subscribe? You can hit that bell button too so you get notified every time that we post a new video, and we will catch you next time.